Our activities are of two types. Some activities are intentional, some activities are unintentional. Intentional activities are self-centered. To intend, there must be intender. Intender is the concept of the self. For example, I can look at something. The eye is there. And the eye is looking at. The self is there, the self is looking at. I can listen to something. Then I is there, the self is there. But without the self, the ear can hear, the eye can see, the nose can smell without intention, unintentionally. So is our thinking and sensation. Sensation is natural. It's called awareness. Sense organs become aware of sense objects naturally, unintentionally. And our mind can think of them, what we become aware of, intentionally. There is a self there. The self is created by our memories, stored up in our brain. That brain can remember our childhood, the babyhood, the youth, the adolescent, the matured age, adulthood, the old age, etc. Because of those memories, we have concept, I am a separate entity and it belongs to me. What I call is a separate entity is a reality, it's a truth. I am a separate entity, separate from the rest of the humanity, rest of the other beings, rest of other things. That separateness is there. And the concept of I is, I feel there is somebody as myself, I, inside, and that is a mental concept, an idea. In Pali, these ideas are called ditti. Ditti are ideas. Sakkaya ditti means, Sakkaya means my own group. Whatever that I call my or mine is considered as a separate entity that belongs to me. My thought, then we can say my wife, my husband, my son, my daughter, my brother, sister, etc. We think that I-ness is there. Without that I-ness, as I mentioned, some of our activities are natural. In fact, the digestion of our food, it happens automatically. Respiration, it happens, breathing in and out, it happens automatically. Blood circulation, it happens automatically. Becoming old, it happens automatically. When we observe, we'll realize almost all our activities are unintentional automatical and natural. There is a natural activity in ourselves, not based on the self, not based on the memory. Memory we call our knowledge. That knowledge comes from the outside. But wisdom is not an entity that is coming from the outside. It's a different capacity coming from inside us, automatically, naturally. With regard to animals, birds and so on, we call it the instinct, natural instinct. Natural instinct comes from within. And through natural instinct, we can realize many things through our wisdom. Inside is the capacity of the wisdom. Wisdom is different from knowledge, as I mentioned, and it comes from within ourselves. It comes from the nature. Even enlightenment is not possible intentionally. As long as there is an intention to get enlightened, there is the ego in that. And the ego has the capacity of desiring. I like to be enlightened means I have a desire to be enlightened. I is there, the desire is there. As long as there is the concept of I and the desire of the I, one can not get enlightened. Enlightenment means the extinction of the concept of I and the desires of the I. When there is no I, there is no desire. There is no intention. There is no liking. There is no disliking. And there is no ignorance also. Awareness is there, sensitivity is there. It means there is no intention to know something. We want to know something means we have the desire to know something. We get that desire when we do know something. But when we don't have a desire to know something, the mind is free of ignorance. It doesn't get the idea of I don't know, I want to know. The enlightenment is possible only with the extinction of that ignorance of I, the liking or the desire of the I, called attachment, and the resentment of the I, called disliking. Whatever the I is doing is intentional, and according to the Buddha's theory, all activities create karma. The energy, the power, the possibility for rebirth. The enlightened are not reborn because they have no intentions, no desires even to be reborn. Without the desire to reborn, we do not get a rebirth. That is the result of enlightenment. One can reach that level not through knowing something. For example, enlightenment or the outcome of enlightenment called Nirvana, supreme bliss, cannot be known by the mind. Whatever that is known by the mind is a mental creation, an image. I know something means, I know my country, I know my father, the image is there. I know my mother. I know that is a tree, the image is there, the idea is there. Insight is free from ideas, but insight can get manifested as an idea. The different matter, the origin of insight is unintentional, egoless, natural, spontaneous. That is how one can get enlightened. After enlightenment, in its first period of joy, Buddha uttered, saying in his first sermon, I became aware, there was awareness, the dawn of something never known before, never heard of before. That means not confined to knowledge that we acquire through our sense organs. Beyond sensory perception. Enlightenment is an experience beyond sensory perception and beyond the experience of the eye. The eye is not there. Enlightenment means the vanishing of the eye, or the eye getting dissolved in the boundless universe, boundless time and space. You become one with the boundless time and boundless space. That is how one can become enlightened. And that capacity for enlightenment can be called our intrinsic, inborn, natural, spontaneous insight. Insight is the capacity of our natural wisdom that is inside us. It is the dawn of that wisdom, or the manifestation of that wisdom, that we call enlightenment. That is why in his first sermon Buddha said, without saying, I saw Nirvana, the enlightened state of mind, Chakkung Udapadi. The sight dawn, Chakkung is, the Pali word Chakkum is eye. Here eye is not the physical eye or the mental eye, but the capacity of the awareness. It is awareness that ultimately leads to enlightenment and the dawn of insight beyond knowledge and also beyond even wisdom. It is our intrinsic, natural, basic nature. We are enlightened inside us. Because enlightenment means is not something that is born, that is made, that happens, that is composed within us. According to Satya Nibbana Sutta in the Buddhist canon, Satya Nibbana Sutta, the words used by the Buddha to describe Nirvana, Ajatang, Abhutang, Akatang, Asankatang. Ajatang means it is not born as some new being or new thing inside us. Abhutang, not an event, not a happening, not a manifestation. Abhutang. Akatang, it is not something I do intentionally. Asankatang, it is not composed of things that are available before enlightenment, but is available in our mind at the moment when we are not enlightened. Our thoughts and feelings, mental images. It means Nirvana, the supreme bliss, is not a mental image. One can get enlightened only when the entire mind becomes empty of its content. But the content of our mind contains mental images associated with feelings. Certain images we like, certain images we dislike, because certain images are pleasant and certain images are unpleasant. Images are memories. They are mind-made, mental. Insight, though it appears through the mind, it is not a part of the mind, nor it is separate from us. That insight, the capacity for enlightenment, is combined with the enlightenment itself. The enlightened appears inside us. The Nirvana appears inside us. That is why it is called Chakkungadapadi. They adorn the sight of vision of the supreme bliss called Nirvana. And Jnanangudapadi, you become aware of it. Panjavudapadi, you become wise with that. What is the basic nature of wisdom? Whenever you are wise, you are blissful. In a mundane sense, happiness is the outcome of our wisdom. Unhappiness is due to the lack of our wisdom. Wisdom is an inner capacity, not our knowledge. We can read books, we can listen to scholars and form an idea of Nirvana, the supreme bliss. But that idea is only an image, only an illusion, but not the real Nirvana, the real bliss of the Nirvana. In the Dhatu Sutta, Buddha says Nirvana is a bliss experienced by the body, not by the mind. Yeah, Nirvana is called Atakkavachara. You can't have Nirvana as an idea. Idea is different from a Nirvana. Animitta, it is not a mental object. You are Nirvana. Though you don't have the insight to see that you are the Nirvana, the supreme bliss. But an enlightened one becomes one with the Nirvana. Enlightenment means, realization of Nirvana means one self getting dissolved in the Nirvana. That is why the Buddha, in the sutta called Vakkali Sutta, Buddha said, Yo dhammam passati, so mam passati. Vakkali Sutta. It comes in the Samyutta Nikaya, volume 3, page 206, in the Buddha Jayanti Tripitaka, printed in Sinhala. It is. Yo dhammam passati, whoever sees Nirvana can seize me. That means, to realize the Buddhahood, you have to realize Nirvana. That means you have to get enlightened. And the Buddha is Nirvana and Nirvana is Buddha in the statement means, Buddha means enlightenment. Buddha means the supreme bliss of enlightenment, the bliss of Nirvana. Buddhahood and Nirvana are not two separate entities, but the two aspects of the same entity, like the two sides of the same coin. That is why it is said, as I mentioned earlier, in the Dhatu Sutta. Dhatu means the Nirvana Dhatu, Nibbana Dhatu. the basis of Nirvana, enlightenment. It is our basis. It is our origin. There's nothing beyond that origin. Our original nature, intrinsic nature is Nirvana, enlightened nature, according to the statement. And it can be touched by the, experienced by the body. The words given by uttered by the Buddha in the Dhatu Sutta that you get in the Kuddaka Nikaya, volume 1, it's called Itivuttaka. In the Buddha Jayanti Tripitaka, it comes in the page 578. Kayena amatan dhatum passitva. Not only Nirvana, the bliss of Nirvana, different states of the bliss on the path to, along the path to Nirvana can be experienced by the body. There are number of discourses uttered by the Buddha regarding this fact, this nature or the fact of Nirvana. For example, in the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha Jayanti Tripitaka, volume 5, on page 536, you get a Kaya Sakti Sutta. Page 538, you get Panya Vimutti Sutta. Page 540, you get Bhoto Bhaga Vimutta Sutta. All those three discourses carry a statement saying that Nirvana, not only Nirvana, but different stages of Nirvana on the path to Nirvana can be realized by the body. The statement is Yata yata tadayatanam tata tatanam kayena pasitva virati. The Buddha's words. That means one can experience, the body can experience Nirvana in the first trance to a certain degree, to a higher degree in second trance, much higher degree in third trance, fourth trance, up to eighth trance, and then the final trance, the Nirvana trance, or the trance of insight, or Nibbana trance, of the trance of enlightenment, is called Sanya Vedaita Nirodha Samapatti. And that is the ultimate final bliss that can be experienced, but without an experiencer. Because enlightenment is the ego, the self, the I getting dissolved in the boundless time and space, the universe, becoming one, becoming a selfless person, natural person. And the natural nature, the intrinsic nature is in us. Our insight is the capacity of that nature. It is developing insight that becomes the path to Nirvana. Therefore, the Buddhist meditation ultimately manifesting in enlightenment is called insight meditation. Up to enlightenment, what the Buddha could experience in meditation was the Hindu system of meditation called Samatha Bhavana, translated into English as tranquility meditation. The mind can be tranquil, the body can be tranquil when the mind is tranquil, the tranquility. Hindu meditation, the Brahmanic meditation, the Vedic meditation was there to attain a tranquil state of mind. The mind is there, the eye is there, but it becomes tranquil. It is the nature of the highest god, or the Hindus call Mahabrahma. The quality of the mind is expressed, the quality of the Mahabrahma mind is given in the Tevijja Sutta of the Digha Nikaya. And the qualities of Brahma means the qualities of one who gave the supreme tranquility of mind. Apariggaho chitto. Doesn't get attached to things. It refrain from attachment. Avyapada jiddo. Refrain from resentment. Free from resentment. Free from attachment. It's a asankiriti chitto. Free from mental defilements. Avero chitto. Free from all ideas of enmity, revenge. And vasavatti. That means self-control. The self is there. It is with the complete extinction of the self that one becomes enlightened, but the tranquility of the mind becomes very helpful for enlightenment. Therefore, Buddha encouraged the samatha bhavana, or the tranquil meditation, as the basis of insight meditation. Insight is, as I mentioned earlier, is an inner sight, not the data, the knowledge that we acquire from our sense organs. Up to the time of the enlightenment, Buddha had the knowledge called Veda to find out enlightenment, but knowledge is information that he has heard. And at the enlightenment, in his first sermon, he said, Pubbesu annasutesu dhammesu chakkumudapadi. There dawned the vision of a state of mind never heard of before. Pubbesu annasutesu, never heard of before. Because at the time of the Buddha, the knowledge was coming in a pupillary succession, teacher to pupil, teacher to pupil. The pupil become a teacher, and that teacher give that knowledge to that pupil, and that pupil become a teacher and give that knowledge to others. In pupillary succession, that's called. There is knowledge, the Veda. Buddha was born not in the Veda period, but the Vedanta period. Veda is knowledge, Vedanta is beyond knowledge. Beyond knowledge means where knowledge ends, the wisdom begins. And it is wisdom that they were aiming at. But as long as there is an aim, there is the idea of self. Idea of self means as long as there is a desire to be enlightened, you can't get enlightened. In a state of mind free from all desires, accepting things as they are, seeing things as they are, becoming one with the nature, one gets the real dawn of insight into the supreme bliss of Nirvana hidden in us. That is what Buddha mentioned by saying, Pubbesu annasutesu dhammesu chakkumudapadi. I never heard this supreme bliss inside me, but there appeared that bliss. There appeared that bliss means I did not see, I become that bliss. You become one with the bliss, one with the insight. You are the capacity for insight into the supreme bliss called Nirvana within you. Therefore, the ultimate capacity of Nirvana is the insight into the supreme bliss within, as mentioned by the Buddha in his first sermon, saying, Chakkum Uddapadi, which means the dawn of insight. That is the final enlightenment, and it too can happen to you one day, but the word happening is a wrong word. Buddha said in the Tatinibbana, it doesn't happen, abhuta, akata. You can realize Nirvana when you become part and parcel of the nature, part and parcel of the time and the space, and when yourself get completely dissolved in that state.